Captain Lee Hyun looked out the window of his ship. The stars were peaceful tonight. His crew had just stopped another war between two alien groups. The Vex Empire and the Catharan Collective had been ready to destroy each other's planets. But humans had stepped in again, they always did. "Captain, we're getting thanks from both sides," said Lieutenant Yoon Tae. He was young and still believed in their mission. "The Vex say we saved millions of lives." Lee Hyun nodded. This was the 847th time humans had stopped a war in the galaxy. For 200 years they had been the peacekeepers. When aliens fought, humans came to talk. When aliens were hungry, humans brought food. When aliens were sick, humans brought medicine. The galaxy called them the Gentle Ones. Lee Hyun used to be proud of that name. Now he wondered if it meant something else. Dr. Choi Ara walked onto the bridge. She studied alien cultures and helped humans understand different species. "The Vex commander wants to meet with you," she said. "He says he has important information." Lee Hyun went to the meeting room. Commander Zekvol was waiting. He was a large creature with blue skin and 4 arms. The Vex were known for being proud and violent. "Human captain," Zekvol said. "You stopped us from fighting the Catharans. Today." "Yes." "Many lives were saved." Zekvol made a sound that might have been laughing. "You think you saved lives? You only delayed death. We will fight them again and again until one of us is destroyed." "Why?" Lee Hyun asked. "You both live on different planets. You have enough resources for everyone." "Because that is what strong species do," Zekvol said. "They fight. They conquer. They take what they want. Only weak species talk about peace." Lee Hyun felt something cold in his stomach. "Are you saying humans are weak?" "I am saying humans are useful," Zekvol replied. "You stop us from fighting when we are not ready. You give us time to prepare better weapons. You heal our enemies so we can fight them again later. Very useful." After Zekvol left, Lee Hyun sat alone. He thought about the commander's words. Were humans really helping, or were they just making wars last longer? 3 days later, everything changed. The emergency call came from New Busan Colony, then Neo Seoul, then Haven's Rest. All 3 human farming colonies were under attack. Pirates, the report said. Ships with no markings were destroying everything. Lee Hyun's ship rushed to New Busan. They were too late. The colony was burning. Farms were destroyed. The school was a pile of broken walls. Bodies lay everywhere. "Captain," Lieutenant Yoon Tae said. His voice was shaking. "I'm picking up survivors in the underground shelters. They rescued 300 people out of 50,000. Most were children who had hidden when the attack started. They told the same story. Ships had come without warning. They had not asked for surrender. They had just started killing." Dr. Choi Ara studied the weapon marks on the buildings. "These are Zephyrian weapons," she said quietly. "The energy signature is very specific, only they use this type of plasma cannon." "Are you sure?" Lee Hyun asked. "I've studied their technology for 10 years. I'm sure." The same pattern was found at Neo Seoul and Haven's Rest. Zephyrian weapons, Zephyrian tactics. But the ships had no markings. They had tried to look like pirates. Lee Hyun sent the evidence to Ambassador Park Mira on Earth. She was humanity's voice in the Galactic Council. If anyone could get justice, it was her. Ambassador Park Mira had served the galaxy for 30 years. She had negotiated treaties, stopped wars, and built bridges between species. She believed in the law. She believed in justice. She presented the evidence to the Galactic Council. Representatives from 200 species sat in the Great Chamber. At the center was the Zephyrian delegation, led by Councillor Vectar. "Honored representatives," Park Mira said. 3 human colonies have been destroyed. Our investigation shows Zephyrian weapons were used. We ask for justice." Councillor Vectar stood up. He was tall and thin with silver skin and large black eyes. The Zephyrians were known for being smart and cruel. The humans make serious accusations, he said. But where is proof? Pirates use many different weapons. They steal from all species. Park Mira showed the energy readings. She showed the attack patterns. She showed recordings of Zephyrian voices giving orders. The evidence was clear, but the council was not interested in evidence. Perhaps the humans made a mistake, said the Yao, Altarian representative. They are emotional creatures. They see enemies where none exist. Yes, agreed the Vex delegate. Humans always think the worst of others. Very suspicious nature. One by one, the alien representatives dismissed the evidence. They found excuses. They suggested other explanations. They acted like the deaths of 150,000 humans meant nothing. Councillor Vectar smiled. Perhaps this attack will teach humans to be more careful. The galaxy is dangerous. Weak species should stay close to home. Weak? Park Mira asked. Of course, Vectar said. Look at human history. You fight small wars on one planet for thousands of years. When you reach the stars, you become servants, you heal others, you feed others. You mediate our conflicts like pets trained to perform tricks. Some of the alien representatives laughed, not all of them, but enough. We do not see humans as equals, Vectar continued. You are useful tools, nothing more. These dead colonists, the price of being useful tools. Perhaps you will be more careful in the future. The chamber was quiet. Park Mira looked around the room. These aliens had worked with humans for 2 centuries. They had accepted human help thousands of times. They had called humans their friends. Now she saw the truth in their eyes. Humans were not friends. They were not even equals. They were servants who had forgotten their place. Vectar was still smiling when he said, Perhaps humans will finally learn their place in the galaxy. Park Mira stood up slowly. She reached to her chest and removed her diplomatic insignia. The golden star that marked her as Earth's representative. She had worn it for 30 years. She dropped it on the floor. For 200 years, she said, we have been your healers, your mediators, your conscience. We believed in peace. We believed in understanding. We believed in the nobility of all sentient life. The chamber was completely silent now. We were wrong, Park Mira continued. You do not want peace. You want servants. You do not want justice. You want victims. You do not want friends. You want slaves who are too stupid to know they are slaves. She turned to face Councillor Vectar directly. You killed our children and laugh about it. You destroyed our homes and call us weak for being sad. You have shown us what you really think of humanity. Park Mira walked toward the exit. At the door, she turned back. Humanity withdraws from all treaties, all alliances, all pretenses of civilization. We are done being your tools. We are done being your servants. We are done being kind. The alien representatives looked confused. Some seemed worried. Vectar was still smiling. When you see our ships, again, Park Mira said, they will not come in peace. She left the chamber. Behind her, the aliens began talking among themselves. Some laughed at human threats. Others seemed concerned. A few looked afraid, but they all made the same mistake. They thought humans would get angry, make noise, and then return to their role as galactic servants. They had seen human anger before. It was always brief, always ended with forgiveness. They did not understand that this was not anger. This was something much more dangerous. This was humans deciding to stop being human. Captain Lee Hyun received the message from Ambassador Park Mira while his ship was still collecting bodies from New Busan colony. The message was short. To all human ships and colonies. Humanity is no longer part of the Galactic Federation. Return to human space immediately. Await further orders. The age of kindness is over. Lieutenant Yoon Tae looked confused. Captain, what does this mean? Lee Hyun looked out at the ruins of New Busan. Children's toys were scattered among the wreckage. A playground was melted into metal and plastic. Gardens that had fed thousands were now ash. It means we're going home, he said. And then we're going to school. School? We're going to learn how to stop being nice. Dr. Choi Ara had been listening. She was staring at her research computer. For 10 years, she had studied alien cultures to help humans understand them better. Now she was thinking about how that knowledge could be used differently. "Captain," she said quietly, "I know their weaknesses." "What?" "All of them. Every species in the galaxy. I know what they fear. I know what hurts them. I know how their societies work. I've been studying them for peace. But knowledge is knowledge." Lee Hyun nodded. "Send everything to Earth, every file, every report, every observation." As the ship left the ruined colony behind, Lieutenant Yoon Tae asked one more question. "Captain, are we really going to fight the entire galaxy?" Lee Hyun was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "No. We're going to teach them what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness, when you confuse mercy with inability, when you think peace means we don't know how to make war." The ship jumped to hyperspace, heading for Earth. Behind them, the ashes of New Busan drifted in space, the last evidence of humanity's age of kindness. Across the galaxy, alien species continued their business. They made trade deals. They fought small wars. They celebrated their superiority over the weak humans who had finally learned their place. They did not know that in human space, something was beginning, something that would change the galaxy forever. They had wanted to see why. The Zephyrian fleet was magnificent. 500 ships in perfect formation, moving through space like a silver river of death. Admiral Thekvar stood on the bridge of his flagship, proud of the force he commanded. "Estimated arrival at human space?" he asked. 18 hours, his navigation officer replied. "The humans will see us coming long before we arrive. They will have time to surrender." Admiral Thekvar smiled. The humans had made their point with a few terrorist attacks. Now it was time for them to remember their place. The galaxy had been patient with their tantrum, but patience had limits. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we're receiving a message." "From the humans?" "No, sir. From our home fleet. They report unusual activity in the Kepler Nebula." Admiral Thekvar frowned. The Kepler Nebula was empty space. Nothing lived there. Nothing hid there. It was just gas and dust and cosmic radiation. "What kind of activity?" "They're not sure, sir. Some kind of energy readings, probably nothing important." Admiral Thekvar nodded and returned his attention to the approaching human systems. He did not know that the Kepler Nebula was exactly where Fleet Admiral Park Chan was waiting with the human first wave. 250 human ships hung in the nebula like ghosts. Their new stealth systems made them invisible to all sensors. Their crews had been waiting for days, watching the Zephyrian fleet approach. Fleet Admiral Park Chan had once been a cargo hauler who carried food to hungry aliens. Now he commanded humanity's first offensive fleet. The change suited him. "Enemy fleet will reach intercept point in 6 hours," his tactical officer reported. Commander Lee Na had been a kindergarten teacher before the change. Now she calculated the best ways to destroy alien ships. "Are our ships ready?" Park Chan asked. "All ships report ready for combat," replied Captain Ando. He had been a grief counselor who helped families deal with loss. Now he helped families create loss for their enemies. Park Chan studied the tactical display. The Zephyrian fleet was 500 strong. The human fleet was half that size. In the old days, this would be considered a fair fight. But humans no longer fought fair. "Signal all ships," Park Chan ordered. "Begin Phase 1. The human ships moved like hunting wolves. They spread out through the nebula, taking positions around the approaching Zephyrian fleet. The aliens still could not see them. The stealth systems worked perfectly. "Enemy fleet entering engagement zone," Commander Lee Na reported. "They have not detected us." "All ships stand by," Park Chan said into his communicator. "Remember, we are not here to fight a battle. We are here to send a message. The message is, humans are no longer prey." The Zephyrian fleet moved through space in their perfect formation. Admiral Thekvar was confident in his ships and his crew. The humans had shown some cleverness with their sneak attacks, but they could not stand against the might of the Zephyrian military. "Sir," his sensor officer called out, "I'm detecting some strange readings from the nebula." "What kind of readings?" "I'm not sure. The interference from the gas clouds is making it difficult to—" The first human ships appeared like demons emerging from hell. One moment, space was empty. The next moment, it was full of black warships with weapons that glowed like angry stars. The attack lasted 17 minutes. The human ships moved with perfect coordination. They struck from all directions at once. Their weapons cut through Zephyrian, shields like knives through paper. Their targeting systems found weak points that alien designers thought were hidden. Admiral Thekvar tried to rally his fleet. All ships, return fire. Form defensive positions. But his ships were already dying. Human weapons were unlike anything in the galaxy. They did not just destroy ships, they erased them. One moment, a Zephyrian cruiser was there. The next moment, there was nothing but empty space. "How are they doing this?" Admiral Thekvar demanded. "How are their weapons so powerful?" His tactical officer was dead. His communications officer was trying to stop the blood flowing from his head. His navigation officer was staring at displays that showed impossible things. "Sir," the navigation officer whispered, "our weapons are not affecting them. Direct hits are causing no damage." Admiral Thekvar looked at his main screen. A human destroyer was taking fire from 3 Zephyrian battleships. The human ship's shields did not even flicker. It turned slowly, almost lazily, and fired once. All 3 Zephyrian ships exploded. "This is impossible," Admiral Thekvar said. "Our intelligence report said humans had no military technology." What Admiral Thekvar did not know was that humans had been lying about their technology for 200 years. Every peaceful human ship had hidden weapons. Every medical scan had been studying alien defenses. Every diplomatic meeting had been gathering intelligence. The humans had known exactly how to build ships that could destroy any alien vessel. They had just been too polite to do it. Now they were no longer polite. "Sir," the communications officer called out. "Message from the human fleet." The main screen showed a human face. Fleet Admiral Park Chan looked tired, like a man who had seen too much death. When he spoke, his voice was calm and cold. "Admiral Thekvar," he said, "this is Fleet Admiral Park Chan of the Terran Navy. Your fleet has been destroyed. You have 17 ships remaining out of 500. Admiral Thekvar looked at his tactical display. It was true. The space around him was filled with wreckage and radiation. Hundreds of his ships were gone. Thousands of his people were dead. "Surrender now," Park Chan continued, "and your remaining ships will be allowed to return home. Refuse, and you will join your comrades in death." Admiral Thekvar felt rage burning in his chest. The humans dared to offer him terms. The humans dared to speak to him as if they were his equals. "Never!" he shouted. "The Zephyrian Empire does not surrender to servants." Park Chan nodded as if he had expected this answer. "Very well. You have chosen death. But before you die, know this. Your people called us weak. Your people called us servants. Your people laughed at our dead children." The human fleet began, moving again. The 17 surviving Zephyrian ships tried to run. They were not fast enough. "This is what happens," Park Chan said, "when you mistake kindness for weakness." The last Zephyrian ship exploded in a ball of white fire. Admiral Thekvar and his entire fleet were dead. The space around Kepler Nebula was silent except for the quiet hum of human engines. Fleet Admiral Park Chan recorded a message and transmitted it to every alien government in the galaxy. "This is Fleet Admiral Park Chan of the Terran Navy. The Zephyrian fleet has been destroyed. 500 ships, 0 survivors. They came to remind us of our place in the galaxy. We have reminded them of theirs." He paused, looking directly into the camera. "This is the new reality. Human ships no longer come in peace. We no longer offer aid or comfort or mercy. You taught us that kindness was weakness. You taught us that peace was surrender. You taught us that our children's lives meant nothing." Another pause. "Thank you for the lesson. Now we will teach you what we learned. The message was received by alien governments across the galaxy. Some were shocked, some were angry, a few were terrified, but not all aliens had learned the lesson yet. The Vex Empire declared that humanity would pay for this act of terrorism. They assembled their own fleet. 300 ships of the Imperial Navy, commanded by war leader Grokthar. Humans defeated the Zephyrians through trickery, Grokthar announced. They hid in a nebula like cowards. The Vex do not hide. The Vex fight with honor. The Vex fleet moved openly through space, broadcasting their location and their intentions. They wanted the humans to see them coming. They wanted the humans to know that the mighty Vex Empire was not afraid. Captain Ko-un received the news aboard her ship, Silent Vengeance. She was leading a small squadron of human destroyers through Vex space. Their mission was reconnaissance, but the approaching Vex fleet changed their plans. Captain, her tactical officer said, the Vex fleet is heading for the Tau Ceti system. Our colony there has 20 million civilians. Ko-un studied the tactical display. 300 Vex ships against her squadron of 12. In the old way of thinking, this was hopeless odds. But humans no longer thought in the old way. Signal the fleet, she ordered. All ships prepare for engagement. We're going to stop them here. Her officers looked concerned. Captain, 12. Ships cannot fight 300. Ko-un smiled. It was the smile of a predator that had found prey. They're not fighting 300 ships. They're fighting 12 human ships. There's a difference. The engagement took place in the Rigel system, far from any inhabited worlds. The Vex fleet arrived in perfect battle formation, drums beating and war songs playing on all frequencies. War leader Grokthar was confident. 12 human ships could not stand against the might of the Vex Empire. This would be a quick victory, followed by the complete destruction of human space. Human ships, he broadcast on open frequencies. You are outnumbered 25-1. Surrender now and we will grant you a warrior's death. Captain Ko-un responded from the Silent Vengeance. War leader Grokthar, this is Captain Ko-un of the Terran Navy. We do not surrender. We do not retreat. We do not ask for quarter. Then you will die, Grokthar replied. Everyone dies, Ko-un said. The question is, how many of your people die with us? The Vex fleet charged forward in a massive wall of ships and weapons. The 12 human ships spread out in W. The Galactic Federation called an emergency meeting. Representatives from every major species gathered in the old council chamber, where Ambassador Park Mira had once stood. The mood was very different now. Fear hung in the air like smoke. Chancellor, Vorden of the Altarian Confederacy spoke first. The human threat must be addressed immediately. They have destroyed 2 major fleets. They show no signs of stopping. Threat? Asked Councillor Meltar of the Rigelian Alliance. 6 months ago you called them useful servants, now they are a threat? That was before they revealed their true nature, Vorden replied. We were deceived. Humans pretended to be peaceful, while secretly building weapons of war. High Priest Zekwan of the Crystalline Domains laughed bitterly. We were not deceived. We were blind. For 200 years humans showed us mercy. We mistook that mercy for weakness. The chamber erupted, in arguments. Some species wanted immediate war against humanity. Others wanted to try negotiation. A few suggested complete surrender. What none of them knew was that Supreme Commander Zhang He was listening to every word. Deep in human space, the war machine that had once been Earth's government was planning Operation Checkmate. Every conversation in alien space was monitored. Every military movement was tracked. Every weakness was catalogued. Supreme Commander Zhang He had been a social worker before the change. She had helped alien refugees find homes on human worlds. She had believed in cooperation and understanding. Now she planned the systematic destruction of galactic civilization. Status report, she said to her staff. General Nam Q spoke first. Phase 2 fleets are in position. Every major alien government is under surveillance. Strike forces are ready to move on your command. Admiral Ryu Jun added, economic warfare. Protocols are prepared. We can collapse their trade networks within days. 17 species depend entirely on interstellar commerce. Without it, they will starve. Colonel Kang Mi stepped forward. She had been a nurse who worked in alien hospitals. Now she designed weapons that targeted specific alien biology. Psychological operations are ready. We know exactly how to break each species' morale. And our assets in place? Supreme Commander Zhang Haie asked. Agent Moonbin smiled. He had spent 20 years as a cultural attaché, building relationships with alien leaders. Now those relationships had a different purpose. 15 major governments have humans in key positions. Scientists, advisors, trade partners. They trust us completely. When we activate them, the results will be dramatic. Supreme Commander Zhang Haie nodded. Begin Operation Checkmate. Show the galaxy what humans learned during our centuries of service. The operation began at exactly midnight, Galactic Standard Time. Agent Moonbin was in his office on Alteria Prime when he received the activation signal. For 20 years, he had been the Confederacy's chief economic advisor. They trusted his judgment completely. He walked to Chancellor Vordan's private chambers. The guards knew him well. They smiled and let him pass. Chancellor Vordan was sleeping when Moonbin entered the room. He woke to find a human standing over his bed, holding a device he did not recognize. Moonbin? Vordan said, confused. What are you doing here? Completing my mission, Moonbin replied. He activated the device. It projected a holographic display showing the locations of every Altarian military base, every government facility, every important leader. For 20 years you have trusted me with your secrets, Moonbin said. Thank you. The information has been very useful. Vordan's eyes widened as he understood. You are a spy? I am a human, Moonbin replied. That should have been warning enough. The device beeped softly. Across Altarian space, charges planted by human maintenance workers detonated simultaneously. Government buildings collapsed. Military bases went dark. Communication networks failed. In less than an hour, the Altarian Confederacy ceased to exist as a functioning government. The same pattern repeated across the galaxy. Human agents who had worked for decades in alien governments revealed their true purpose. Trusted advisors became saboteurs. Friendly scientists became assassins. Helpful engineers became destroyers. On Zephyros Prime, Dr. Kim Yeon had spent 15 years studying Zephyrian biology. She was respected as one of the galaxy's leading experts on their species. Her research had saved millions of Zephyrian lives. Now, she used that research to take Zephyrian lives. The biological weapon she released was perfectly designed. It did not kill. It was much worse than death. It made Zephyrians unable to process their own thoughts clearly. They became confused, paranoid, aggressive toward their own people. Within days, Zephyrian society collapsed into chaos. Families fought each other. Military units attacked their own command centers. The government issued contradictory orders and then forgot what they had ordered. Counselor Vectar, the alien who had laughed at human children's deaths, spent his last days hiding in a bunker, terrified of his own shadow. The Vex Empire tried to maintain order through force. They declared martial law and began executing anyone who showed signs of disloyalty. This played perfectly into human plans. Captain Ando led a small fleet of human ships to Vex space. His mission was not to fight the Vex military. His mission was to make the Vex military fight itself. Using technology stolen from their own computers, human ships began broadcasting false orders to Vex fleets. Admiral Gracton received orders to arrest Admiral Thekmore for treason. Admiral Thekmore received orders to arrest Admiral Gracton for the same crime. Both admirals believed the orders were real. Both assembled their fleets and moved to carry out their missions. They met in the Vega system and destroyed each other completely. Captain Ando watched the battle from a safe distance. Signal the next phase, he told his communications officer. Send new orders to the 3rd and 5th Vex fleets. By the end of the week, the Vex Empire had lost 60% of its military strength fighting itself. The Kytheran collective tried a different approach. They decided to negotiate with humanity. High Speaker Kelvarth sent a message to Supreme Commander Zhang Hai. Honored humans, the collective wishes to discuss terms for peace. We acknowledge that mistakes were made in our previous relationship. Supreme Commander Zhang Hai responded personally. High Speaker Kelvarth, I remember you. You were in the council chamber when our children died. You voted to ignore the evidence of who killed them. That was a different time, Kelvarth replied. We have learned from our errors. The collective wishes to make amends. Amends? Supreme Commander Zhang He appeared to consider this. Very well. We will accept your surrender. Surrender? No. We wish to negotiate a mutual peace agreement. There is nothing mutual about this situation, Zhang Hai said. You are defeated. You simply have not admitted it yet. To prove her point, she activated the next phase of Operation Checkmate. Colonel Kang Mi had spent months preparing a special gift for the Kytherans. She knew that their species communicated through complex chemical signals. Disrupting those signals would be like making humans suddenly unable to speak or understand language. Human ships released the chemical disruptor into Kytheran space. It spread quickly through their colonies and ships. Within hours, Kytherans could no longer understand each other. Their military fell apart. Their government collapsed. Their society fragmented into millions of isolated individuals who could not communicate with anyone else. High Speaker Kelvarth tried to send another message to the humans, but he could not remember how language worked. The Rigelian Alliance attempted to rally the remaining alien species. We must unite against the human threat, declared their military leader, War Master Zarkel. Together we can still defeat them. Admiral Ryu Jun had been waiting for this moment. He had once been an economics professor who taught aliens about human trade practices. Now he used that knowledge to destroy their economies. Human ships began intercepting alien trade vessels, not to destroy them but to redirect them. Cargo ships carrying food to hungry worlds were sent to worlds that already had plenty. Ships carrying medicine to sick populations were sent to healthy worlds. Within weeks, alien trade networks collapsed completely. Worlds that depended on imported food began to starve. Colonies that needed medicine fell to disease. Manufacturing centers stopped producing goods because they had no raw materials. War Master Zarkel found himself commanding fleets that had no fuel, protecting worlds that had no food, fighting an enemy that could not be found. Where are the human fleets? He demanded of his intelligence officers. How can we fight them if we cannot find them? The truth was that human fleets were everywhere and nowhere. Their stealth technology made them invisible. Their speed made them impossible to catch. Their intelligence network meant they always knew where alien forces would be. Human ships would appear, strike a target, and vanish before alien defenders could respond. They destroyed military bases, communication centers, and supply depots. They left alien fleets blind, deaf, and helpless. Some alien species tried to flee. The hegemony of the Seven Suns packed their entire population onto colony ships and headed for unexplored space. They found human ships waiting for them. Captain Li Na had been a kindergarten teacher. She had loved children and believed in their innocence and potential. The aliens had killed human children and laughed about it. Now she taught different lessons. Attention, Seven Sioux. 6 months had passed since Ambassador Park Mira walked out of the Galactic Council. Human space had gone completely silent. No trade ships left human colonies. No diplomatic messages were sent. No distress calls were answered. The aliens found this concerning at first. Then they decided humans were having a tantrum. Soon, they stopped thinking about humans at all. This was their second mistake. On Earth, General Nam Q stood in a room that had not existed a year ago. The walls were covered with star maps, ship designs, and attack plans. The room was called the War Council Chamber. 6 months ago, Earth did not have a War Council. Report, General Nam Q said. Colonel Bei-jin stepped forward. She had been a cargo ship captain before the change. Now she designed new military tactics. All colonies have completed Phase 1 reconstruction. Defensive systems are operational. Civilian populations have finished basic combat training. General Nam Q nodded. Every human settlement was now a fortress. Every civilian was now a soldier. Children as young as 12 learned to use weapons. Grandparents as old as 90 learned to build bombs. "What about the ships?" he asked. Engineer Lim Su answered. Before the change, she had designed farming, equipment and medical devices. Now she built weapons. The first wave is ready. 50 destroyer-class vessels, 20 heavy cruisers, 5 battleships, all using the new designs. The new designs were humanity's first secret weapon. For 200 years, humans had studied alien technology. They had learned how it worked. They had found ways to make it better. Human ships no longer looked like the peaceful vessels that had carried diplomats and doctors. They looked like hungry predators. Black metal hulls with no windows. Weapons that could destroy planets. Engines that could outrun anything in the galaxy. "Stealth systems?" General Nam Q asked. "Complete," Lim Su said. "We took Zephyrian cloaking technology and improved it. Our ships are invisible to every known sensor type. The aliens won't see us coming until we're already shooting." Dr. Song. Yuri spoke next. She had been a therapist who helped humans understand alien psychology. Now she used that knowledge for war. "Psychological warfare protocols are ready. We know exactly how to break each species' morale." She opened a file on her computer. "The Vex value strength above everything. If we make them look weak, their own people will turn against them. The Altarians fear chaos. If we disrupt their schedules and routines, they will panic. The Zephyrians believe they are the smartest species. If we outsmart them repeatedly, they will lose confidence." "And the civilians?" General Nam Q asked. "Every human who worked in alien space has been debriefed," Dr. Song Yuri replied. "Doctors, teachers, engineers, farmers. For 2 centuries they have been watching. They know alien weaknesses. They know alien secrets. They know where aliens hide their important things." Commander Omin had been quiet during the meeting. He had been a trade negotiator before the change. Now he ran human intelligence operations. "General, we have another advantage they don't know about." "Explain." "Humans are still in alien space, thousands of them. The aliens think they are just civilians who haven't gone home yet. But they are our agents now. They are in alien governments, alien military bases, alien research centers. When we give the signal, they will act." General Nam Q smiled. It was not a kind smile. "How long until we are ready for Phase 2? 3 months, Engineer Lim Su said. 2 months, corrected Commander Omin. "My people are eager to begin." In another part of Earth, Captain Bei-jin was training the first Wolfpack Squadron. These were small groups of ships that would hunt together, like wolves hunting deer. "Remember," she told her pilots, "we are not here to fight fair. We are here to win. The aliens had 200 years to treat us with respect. They chose cruelty instead. Now they will learn the price of that choice." The pilots nodded. These were not the same humans who had once carried medicine to sick aliens. These humans had dead children to avenge. They had burned colonies to remember. They had been called weak and useful and servant one too many times. Lieutenant Park Do raised his hand. "Captain, what if they try to surrender?" "They can surrender when they are all dead," Captain Bei-jin replied. "We tried peace. They wanted war. War is what they will get." The pilots liked this answer. They had volunteered for the most dangerous missions. They wanted to be the first humans to show the galaxy what humans could really do. On Mars, Dr. Choi, Ara worked in a laboratory that looked like a torture chamber. She was creating biological weapons, not to kill aliens but to control them. Each species had different biochemistry. Each species could be affected in different ways. "The Catharans communicate through chemical signals," she explained to her assistant. "If we disrupt those signals, they cannot coordinate their forces. They will fight each other instead of us." Her assistant, Dr. Lee Min, was uncomfortable. Is this not against human ethics? Dr. Choi Ara stopped working. She turned to face him. Human ethics were created for beings who respected human life. These aliens laughed at our dead children. They called us servants and tools. They have no rights that humans are bound to respect. She returned to her work. Besides, we are not killing them. We are just making them confused and afraid. They will live. They will remember. And they will never underestimate humans again. On Luna Base, Admiral Kim Dae was training the new human fleet. These were not the exploration vessels humans had once built. These were weapons designed to end civilizations. Speed is life, he told his commanders. Hit hard, hit fast, disappear before they know what happened. Make them afraid to leave their home systems, make them afraid to sleep at night. The commanders were eager to begin. They had seen the reports from the destroyed colonies. They had read the transcripts from the Galactic Council. They knew exactly what the aliens thought of humanity. Soon, the aliens would learn what humanity thought of them. Commander Yoon Kang asked a question. Admiral, what about civilian targets? There are no civilian targets, Admiral Kim Dae replied. Every alien who voted to ignore our dead is a legitimate target. Every alien who laughed at our pain is a combatant. Every alien who called us weak will learn to fear us. The months passed quickly. Human space became a machine focused on one goal: preparing for war. Every factory made weapons. Every school taught combat. Every research center developed new ways to hurt aliens. The galaxy did not notice. Alien species continued their normal activities. They traded goods, fought small wars, and made plans for the future. Some occasionally wondered what the humans were doing, but not for long. Humans had always been peaceful. Humans had always been helpful. Humans had always been weak. This was their third mistake. Captain Ko Yoon stood on the bridge of her new ship. It was called the Silent Vengeance. The name was painted in black letters on a black hull. The ship was invisible to all known sensors. It could destroy a space station with one shot. It could outrun any alien vessel. 6 months ago, Ko Yoon had been a medical transport pilot. She had carried wounded aliens to safety. She had saved thousands of lives. Now she was going to take thousands of lives. All systems ready, Captain, her weapons officer reported. He had been a pediatric nurse before the change. Now he controlled weapons that could crack planets. Target acquired, her navigator said. She had been a school teacher before the change. Now she hunted alien ships like a predator, tracking prey. Ko Yoon looked at her target through the main viewer. It was a Kitharan trade convoy. 12 ships, carrying goods between star systems. They had no military escort. They did not expect trouble in this part of space. Captain, her communications officer said, we're receiving a distress call from the third ship. They're carrying medical supplies to a Kitharan colony that was hit by plague. Ko Yoon considered this information. 6 months ago, she would have helped. She would have escorted the convoy safely to its destination. She would have offered human medical assistance. Open fire, she ordered. The Silent Vengeance attacked without warning. 12 Kitharan ships became expanding clouds of gas and metal in less than 30 seconds. There were no survivors. Ko Yoon recorded a message and broadcast it on all Kitharan frequencies. This is the human ship Silent Vengeance. We have destroyed your convoy. This is what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. More ships are coming. More humans are angry. You wanted to see what we were capable of. Now you know. She ended the transmission and ordered her ship to jump to hyperspace. They vanished without a trace, leaving only wreckage and a warning. The message reached Kitharan High Command within hours. At first, they did not believe it. Humans did not attack trade convoys. Humans helped people. Humans were peaceful. Then they saw the wreckage. Then they analyzed the weapons signatures. Then they realized the impossible had happened. Humans had declared war on the galaxy. The news spread quickly through alien space. Some species were alarmed. Others were angry. A few were amused. Counselor Vector of the Zephyrians held a press conference. The humans think they can frighten us with terrorist attacks, he said. They are wrong. The galaxy will show them the price of abandoning their peaceful nature. He announced that the Zephyrian hegemony would send a fleet to human space. They would restore order. They would remind humans of their proper place in the galaxy. The fleet would consist of 500 ships. It would be the largest military force ever, as 2 years had passed since humanity said enough. The galaxy was quiet now. No more wars between alien species. No more trade disputes. No more political arguments. There was only human law. Emperor Kim Jong stood on the observation deck of his flagship, watching Earth grow larger through the window. He had been elected by every human colony and settlement across the galaxy, not because he wanted power, but because someone had to rule the aliens who remained. The title Emperor had been chosen carefully. Aliens understood hierarchy. They respected strength. President or chairman sounded too democratic, too weak. Emperor told them exactly where they stood in the new order. Marshal Lim Hai approached with the daily reports. She had been a veterinarian before the change, helping sick animals recover. Now she made sure alien species remembered their place. Your Majesty, she said formally. The humans had agreed that alien subjects should see proper respect for human authority. The morning briefing is ready. Emperor Kim Jong nodded. They walked to his private office, where displays showed the current state of the galaxy. Every world was marked with its status: human colony, allied territory, supervised region, or quarantine zone. Compliance reports? He asked. Excellent. Across all sectors, Marshal Lim Hai replied. The Altarians have completed construction of the new mining facilities ahead of schedule. The Centaurians have exceeded their food production quotas by 12%. Emperor Kim Jong was pleased but not surprised. Alien species worked much harder when they understood the consequences of failure. Any resistance movements? 3. Small cells were detected and eliminated this week. The Rigelian underground attempted to sabotage a communication relay. Agent Song Yan infiltrated their group and arrested all members. And their fate? Public execution, as per standard policy. The local population was reminded that harboring rebels carries the same penalty. Emperor Kim Jong studied the reports. Rebellion had been common in the first year after conquest. Alien species had tried to regain their independence through guerrilla warfare, terrorism, and sabotage. They had learned that humans were much better at those tactics than they were. Every rebellion was crushed completely. Every terrorist was hunted down and killed publicly. Every act of sabotage was met with collective punishment for the entire population. The aliens learned quickly that resistance only brought suffering. What about the supervised territories? Emperor Kim Jong asked. Governor Park. So reports continued. Progress, Marshal Lim Hai said. Former Zephyrian space is now producing 30% above pre-war levels. The population has accepted human oversight. Governor Park So had been a social worker before the change. She had helped alien families integrate into human society. Now she helped human society integrate alien families. The process was efficient. Alien worlds kept their local governments, but human advisors made all important decisions. Alien militaries were disbanded and replaced with human garrison forces. Alien economies were restructured to serve human needs. Most importantly, alien children were educated in human schools with human teachers. They learned human history, human values, and human language. In one generation, the galaxy would be full of aliens who thought like humans, or at least aliens who knew better than to think differently than humans. Any requests for autonomy upgrades? Emperor Kim Jong asked. The Centaurian Federation has applied for associated status, Marshal Lim Hai replied. They have met all requirements for the past 18 months. Exemplary behavior, full cooperation, 0 resistance incidents. Emperor Kim Jong considered this. The hierarchy of alien status was carefully designed. Conquered species started as supervised territories with human governors. Good behavior could earn them associated status, with human advisors instead of governors. Exceptional loyalty could eventually earn full alliance with equal treatment under human law. So far, no alien species had achieved full alliance. Most humans doubted any ever would. Approved, Emperor Kim Jong decided. The Centaurians have earned some trust, but maintain observation protocols. Of course, Your Majesty. Captain Yu Sang received the assignment while his ship was patrolling the outer rim. His squadron was responsible for monitoring the quarantine zones where the most dangerous alien species were contained. The Vex Empire had been reduced to a single star system. Their military was destroyed. Their government was dissolved. Their population was forbidden to leave their home system or develop any technology above basic manufacturing. They were alive, but they were no longer a threat to anyone. Captain Yu Sang had been a paramedic before the change. He had saved alien lives in medical emergencies. Now he made sure aliens remembered why their lives needed saving. Captain, his communications officer reported, "We're receiving a distress call from the Vex system." What kind of distress? Food shortage. They're requesting permission to import grain from the associated territories. Captain Yu Sang considered this. The Vex had been warriors who took what they wanted by force. Now they had to ask permission for basic supplies. Denied, he said. They have sufficient farmland to feed their population. If they're hungry, they need to work harder. Sir, they claim crop failure due to weather problems. Then they need to learn better farming techniques. Send them some basic agricultural manuals, in human language only. The communications officer looked uncomfortable. Sir, many of them cannot read human language. Then they need to learn, Captain Yu Sang replied. Or they need to find someone who can read it for them. The Vex insisted they were superior to humans. Let them prove it by solving a simple farming problem. This was the new reality for former ER enemy species. Humans provided nothing without effort. Former conquerors had to beg for basic supplies. Former predator species had to prove they deserved to survive. Most adapted, some did not. The ones who did not became extinct through their own choices. In the former Kitharan territories, a group of refugees approached a human patrol ship. Their leader was a young female named Sil Wen. She had been a child when the war began. Captain Yu Sang's ship detected them first. Unknown vessels, identify yourselves and state your business. This is Sil Wen of the refugee fleet, she transmitted. We seek permission to settle in unoccupied territory. We will accept any terms you require. Captain Yu Sang studied the refugee ships through his scanners. 12 vessels carrying about 50,000 Kitharans. They were the survivors of a species that had once numbered in the billions. Where have you been for the past 2 years, he asked. Hiding, Silwen replied honestly. We were afraid of what humans would do to us. And now? Now we are tired of being afraid. We have heard that humans allow some species to live in peace. We want to earn that chance. Captain Yu Sang appreciated her honesty. Many aliens still try to lie to humans, not understanding that human technology could detect deception easily. You understand that settlement requires acceptance of human authority? Yes. You understand that your people will be supervised, monitored, and subject to human law? Yes. You understand that any resistance, any act of rebellion, any attempt to harm humans will result in complete extinction of your species? Silwen was quiet for a long moment. Yes, we understand. Captain Yu Sang made his decision. Follow my ship. You will be taken to Processing Station Alpha for evaluation. If you pass all requirements, you will be assigned settlement rights in Sector 7. Thank you, Silwen said. We will not disappoint you. As the refugee fleet followed his ship toward human space, Captain Yu Sang reflected on how much had changed. Before the war, humans would have immediately offered aid, comfort, and protection to refugees. They would have asked for nothing in return. Now refugees had to earn the right to exist. The change troubled some humans. Captain Yu Sang was not one of them. He remembered the laughter in the Galactic Council when human children died. He remembered aliens calling humans weak and useful and servant. The aliens had taught humans what the galaxy was really like. Now, they lived in the galaxy they had created. Counselor Choi Ray was preparing for the monthly Galactic Assembly. Once, this chamber had hosted the Galactic Federation, where hundreds of species debated as equals. Now it hosted representatives from human territories where aliens requested permission to exist. She had been a human rights lawyer before the change. She had fought for justice and equality for all beings. Now she wrote the laws that governed a conquered galaxy. The irony was not lost on her. The first speaker was Ambassador Koltar, representing the former Altarian Confederacy. Honored Counselor, my people request permission to establish a new mining colony in the Epsilon sector. For what purpose? Counselor Choi Ray asked. To increase production of rare metals needed for human industry. Approved. Next, the process was efficient. Aliens requested permission for various activities. Humans granted or denied those requests based on human interests. There was no debate, no argument, no lengthy discussion. Democracy was a privilege that aliens had lost when they chose to mock human democracy. The last speaker was different. Captain Han Seo approached the podium. He was human, but he had a request that surprised everyone. Counselor Choi Ray, I request permission to speak on behalf of a group of alien refugees. Explain. They are children, Counselor. Orphans from various species whose parents died in the war. They have been living on an abandoned,